The issue is, once one of these has been rolling around your floorboards for a few months in the summer heat, how can you be sure that chemicals haven't leached out into the water? I am at the Westgate Smoky Mountain Resort right now, taking a look at damage. We've actually got crews still rolling in, fire crews here. And you can see this cabin, very, very heavily damaged. Now, the so-called jug handle helps redirect riders to hit the tracks at a better angle, though crashes can still happen. What we're seeing is there's a car trapped right under here. We're going to talk to you in a second. Let's pan away. There is a truck right down here trapped in raging floodwaters. We've got another car right down there that's going underwater. We just heard what sounded a lot like gunfire. We've got some people here telling me people are shooting in the air to let people know they're still here. And really at the center of the whole fight is this flume. When TVA is using it to generate, it diverts water away from the river, making rafting like this impossible. Are there growing pains right now to get things going?
There are always growing pains. I mean, recovery is a messy business.
That we're going to see a sports car on its roof, so they just slid out on it, huh?
As far as we know.
Is everybody okay?
As far as we know.
That's good to hear, all right. We're also going to be answering your questions about the truth versus fiction. But during a partial solar eclipse, it's dim enough that we can stand to look up longer. And without a filter to block that light, the risk for damage increases. As summer temperatures soar, does the risk associated with leaving water bottles in your car increase as well? It's a popular rumor online. A chain post claims a friend of ours became very sick after drinking water left in a car overnight. It also warns of a chemical called dioxin, which can cause cancer. So we set out to separate the hot air from the hot water. The issue is, once one of these has been rolling around your floorboards for a few months in the summer heat, how can you be sure that chemicals haven't leached out into the water?
Oh, that's a urban myth.
UT professor of public health Jay Chen has written studies about dioxin, but he says he's confident plastic water bottles are safe in normal cases. He drinks out of them almost every day. And you're healthy so far.
Hopefully, right?
But Chen says time plays a part here. A few days in the car is no big deal, but he says over weeks or months, the hot weather could start to break the bottle down. He would not recommend drinking that water.
I probably won't do that, yeah.
A 2014 study at the University of Florida found 4 weeks of 158-degree heat did elevate chemical levels in bottled water. But they called that a worst-case scenario for human consumption.
Extreme cases may come with some risk, yes.
Dr. Susan Newman is an oncologist at UT Medical Center. She said long-term exposure of plastic to heat troubles her, but she does not warn patients to avoid plastic bottles.
It's not something that we focus on as a major culprit in the world of cancer.
So is it dangerous to drink from a bottle left in your car overnight?
I would say it's false.
And Chen says no matter how long a plastic bottle is in the car, he would not worry about dioxin specifically. So 10 News can verify this post is false. Though maybe don't make a habit of storing bottles in hot areas long term. Sundays may be set aside for rest. But in the town of Spring, Texas, there is no time for that.
Well, we say we worshipped and now we're doing worship. So
Pastor Beth Warpmaker,
it's important too,
had already planned a service day for Kinsman Lutheran.
Is Ann here?
And tells some of their members needed help as well. Hurricane Harvey flooded entire neighborhoods.
Not a day for rest until it's done, because the water just can't sit.
Ann Brady's home had 16 inches of water inside. That's since been replaced by dozens of volunteers cleaning it up.
All these people, you realize how good of friends you have.
It takes disasters and devastation like this to let us know all the angels that surround us every day.
And while they set to work with hammers and crowbars,
I'm trading myself.
Others' tool of choice was song.
We came out to kind of bring hope to the people.
Gail Johnson and members of Pleasant Hill Church of Deliverance came to the George R. Brown Shelter to share prayers. They know that many people lost homes, but some are also missing church.
We need to pray. We need to pray for Houston, pray for one another, and become unified in the body of Christ.
But whether it's communicated through music or much harsher sounds, the message is the same. This tragedy is bringing the people of Houston closer together.
It just breaks down all the walls that we usually put up, They all come tumbling down.
In Houston, I'm Michael Crowe. Randy Shonigan knows how to fix a busted bike, but he's less equipped for injured people.
We've had customers walk in our store with broken arms, skinned knees.
The infamous culprit, this railroad crossing on Neyland Drive. The shallow angle of attack made it a cyclist's trap.
What happens is the bike wheel will kind of fall into that flangeway, the crack between the rail and the concrete.
That's exactly what happened to Chris Cherry's wife one day. So the UT professor set up a camera in his office and recorded crash after crash, cyclists hitting the tracks and losing control.
I think one of the main problems is people don't expect it, and they get blindsided, so to speak.
That was in 2014. He brought his concerns to the city, which has since fixed the issue. Now, the so-called jug handle helps redirect riders to hit the tracks at a better angle, though crashes can still happen.
Right about the time I was thinking, oh, I probably need to go around, my bike slipped out from under me.
That was last summer, after the reroute. Annabelle Henley broke her pelvis in that crash.
It was 3 months in a wheelchair and a lot of physical therapy, and I haven't ridden much because I have a lot of fear associated with bike riding now.
And she wishes city engineers could add more warning for riders approaching the crossing.
You know, it's not 100% guaranteed safe, but that's the best we can do. There is always some hazard involved with crossing a railroad track.
Though Cherry thinks this is a fair and affordable solution.
That they fixed it, and they fixed it very cheaply is very good.
In Knoxville, Michael Crowe, 10 News.
Boy!
They might not always come when called.
Say the heck with you, it's too hot.
But they sure do manage to draw a crowd.
They're amazing.
A lot of curiosity.
Benny Hammond's bison are a local fascination in Birds Creek, near Gatlinburg.
Of course, they're beautiful. It's just a shame we still don't have millions of them.
The hulking creatures are a reason to stop and stare for tourists and locals alike. And Benny is a local institution himself. After 49 years of coaching football, he retired from Gatlinburg Pittman in March.
What are you doing, buddy? Hot today, isn't it?
A career that kept these not-so-gentle giants frequently on his mind.
You know, you wish you could dress that big bull out as a fullback and play him there. It'd be pretty tough to bring him down.
A few trips out west left him fascinated with the animals. So he traded cattle for bison, starting with 3 cows and the big guy, Bully.
I call him Nickel sometimes, like a buffalo nickel.
Since then, the herd has grown to 8. He raises them not for food, but mostly entertainment. And some days, the company.
They don't talk back, they don't have an opinion and that kind of thing.
But even without a voice, they did teach him something valuable last November.
The leaves and the embers were blowing so strong in the wind.
When the wildfires tore through Gatlinburg, Benny stayed with his home, water hose in hand. Fire scorched the outside, but he saved that house.
Because I was probably like a buffalo, so bullheaded and stubborn, I stayed there and didn't leave, knowing that I should have left out. If I would have waited another 2 minutes, my house would have been up in flames big time, and it wouldn't have been any saving it.
Call it a lesson he's picked up from the herd.
They're a tough animal.
Almost as tough as the man that keeps them.
You want some feed? Come on.
Michael Crowe, 10 News. The rushing rapids of the Ocoee River draw thousands of people every season.
Never done it.
You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited.
More than 2 million paddlers from around the world have navigated its curves in just the last 10 years.
It's continuous, it's beautiful, just a great celebration of Tennessee's natural heritage.
But for much of that time, the future of the Ocoee has been as turbulent as the river itself. And really at the center of the whole fight is this flume. When TVA is using it to generate, it diverts water away from the river, making rafting like this impossible.
Without a new agreement, hypothetically, yes, the river could have run dry.
But lawmakers finally worked out a deal. The state will pay TVA about $11 million over the next 15 years to recover that loss-generating revenue.
It was complicated. I think ultimately we arrived at a very, very good agreement for all the parties that were involved.
I like it a lot.
Guides like Jim Kibler are used to taking boats through rough water. But he says with this agreement, he'll be able to worry less about keeping the company afloat.
It definitely gives us some stability that we know we're going to be in business, because there for a while we weren't sure.
Now TVA can keep generating electricity, while the rafters share a shock of their own. with millions more guests.
Beautiful. I mean, you meet people from all over the world, and I mean, it's just a positive experience.
The drive to their cabin was beautiful, a twisting, turning road up the mountainside. But the drive out,
immediate panic. Everybody panicked.
not so much.
You lose the road into the fire, and you just panic on, are you going to really get your family out of here while your family's sitting in the back crying?
Michael Plattner brought his family from Florida for a relaxing vacation in Gatlinburg. But as fire raced towards their rental cabin, all he felt was fear. They couldn't find their way out.
You would hope to see some kind of exit, some kind of big rock sign, anything, you know, any kind of sign. We seen nothing. It was just nighttime and fire. All you could see was red and orange. That's it.
1 year after the fires, it's a lesson learned for Sevier County, says EMA Director Joe Ayers.
Yes, if you are not familiar with the main roadways, you could become confused very easily.
There's the potential for a wrong turn here in an emergency.
If you were to go off one of these side roads, yes.
And even on a clear day, he says they're working to help people better navigate these winding roads.
We're wanting to make it easier for the community and for the tourists to be able to make an informed decision.
As part of that effort, the county is exploring new reflective signs to point people away from dead ends and down the mountain. But officials are avoiding the term evacuation routes.
It might be a fire, it might be a tornado, it might be a flood. So you can have an emergency evacuation route because it may, if it's a fire, there may be trees down there. You know, there's other factors out there in the mountains.
So it sounds like what you're saying is it's not possible to give people one way out, but there is some room for improvement to give people more ways out.
That's correct. More visible signage. You know, that night it was very smoky, so we're looking at signage that has some reflective qualities in it.
A committee is reviewing their plans and preparedness and has brought in an outside consulting company. In the meantime, new early warning sirens were installed this summer in downtown Gatlinburg, with more coming to Chalet Village in the next few months. Officials are also considering pamphlets of emergency information in rental cabins. They hope to reach people earlier and point them in the right direction, but no signs have been installed yet.
Something, anything would be a big improvement because there was nothing. There was nothing.
Michael Plattner says even 10 minutes more warning could have helped because he cannot forget the fear of being lost on that mountain.
It was definitely a moment where left or right turn could have been the reason why we weren't here today, you know?
And even with those signs, he says his family getaways are going in a different direction.
And all I can think about now is vacations at the beach. That's where I'd rather take them.
Michael Crowe, 10 News.